So I'm just trying out building for the first time. As you can see, I'm not too good with it by the horrific mistake I made of whatever the frick that room was. So I'm just trying out a pretty, like, familiar shape. Like, I see a lot of houses like this. I didn't like it. I really didn't like it. So I'm trying out a different style of roof. Maybe that'll help. It didn't. I got rid of it. I just got some new packs, so I'm trying to use stuff from that mostly, which you'll see later on in the video. But yeah, no, I'm just, for example, here, you know, door. Yep, so I'm just trying to make things look good. Not really my strong suit. I don't really ever actually build any builds. I normally just make, like, go onto the gallery and take somebody else's, like, for my games, and then I customize the rooms a tiny bit, because I'm horrible with decorating. Yeah, you can see me just contemplating here, because I wanted it to look more natural, which is why I did that in the first place. And then I was like, you know what, I don't like the fact that it is just completely straight all the way around. So I decided to make it a little bit more curved, maybe a little bit more whimsical, if you will. And then I decided, no, we don't actually need a second story. And here's the start of the roofing struggles. There is not a good roof for anything curved in the game. Like, if you have a full circle, yeah, you're good. If you have, like, a perfect, like, pentagon or octagon, you're good. They've got you covered. Anything curved, though, you're cooked. There's nothing good there, and that's kind of annoying. As you can see, I'm getting annoyed myself. I wanted to do something kind of like that, but I gave up. Which, I don't even blame myself at this point, man. I still think that the roof looks kind of whimsical, so I'm not too angry about it. I'm just angry with EA, but most people are, so shrug. Yeah, here's me trying to fix the roof. I will come back to it later. I will never be satisfied with this roof. Ever. Here's me trying to fix the weird grass thing that's going on around. I will come back to this later. Here's me trying to fit in pillars or a fence. I will fit in a fence later. As you see, I'm fitting it in now. This may look, for you guys, this is 9 minutes and 5 seconds. For me, this was an hour and 30 minutes. So I'm gonna be a little bit, here's me, I wanted to put 2 trees in here, but as you'll see, I gave up. So I decided to make like a little rock sculpture kind of thing, and then these alien flowers are really pretty. I just wish they were closer to the ground. But I really like them. I wanted to put in some wildflowers, but none of them looked good, probably because I started in spring, so none of them actually, like, you know, have anything. So I wanted to create like a little path so it shows that, you know, someone goes out there every now and again. I wanted to kind of fill this in. I'm not really focusing on anything outside of the fence. I wanted to kind of raise that up a little bit, just a tiny bit, not a lot. And then I wanted to create kind of like a divot with where the path is, because that is, well, what would happen, naturally. And then you can kind of see like a weird stuff happening in the corner, so I added some lavender in there. Even though in real life I am allergic to lavender, I normally hate using it in games, but if it makes my build look better, that's fine. So here's me doing kind of the floor plan. I wanted to keep this more open, but at the same time, I was sitting there and I was going, would I like to live in a house where anyone could just look into my bedroom or my bathroom? And I decided no, actually, on that one. So I changed it. Sorry, it's not early, but it is for me. So I'm just kind of looking through different things to put in the corner, because man, I understand why architecture majors are always going like, we wish we could make more interesting shapes, but you just can't fit things in them. I get it now. I get it. I wanted to do architecture as my major when I was younger. Not anymore. I've resigned myself to being... hopefully this. Yes, I'm trying to make, like, a little, like... you know, like, it drips down onto the bed here, because I find things like that, like, really cool. I like them. But as you can see, I gave up and decided to start working on the bathroom. I thought this tub was really cute. I wanted to cover up that corner, but nothing fits in the corners. So I went, okay. So we're choosing... yeah. So I thought that this one fit better with the overall vibe than the actual mirror that the pack came with. Which is interesting. Don't worry, yeah, we're putting up lights now. Things will get covered later, like, fully. I like fairy lights. So... there's gonna be a lot of them, and I'm sorry. The main reason I didn't go with the curved upwards one in the bedroom is because you couldn't, like, flip it, which is annoying. Cabinets are a godsend in this game, I swear. Because you can put them in corners like that, and it looks natural. That looks natural, that looks good. And then I discovered the little, if I just cover everything with a carpet, no one will know. Which is kind of funny. You know, I did this, and then I realized this is one sim. Because I like making lore for every build that I make, and sim that I make. So, one sim does not need a whole dining table. So they don't get a whole dining table. And then they added the apothecary stuff with this update, so I decided to, well, add that in here. This is mostly just me playing around with the update. And then they have the little floral pressing things. And so I decided to put that down, and here's me, you know, actually covering the walls. I know, wild. So here's me discovering that The Sims counts all of this as one room. So I have to manually put down the tile. Here's me messing with the roof again. Yeah, I just discovered that, you know, there's a window in the bathroom, and then I gave up. You know what? It looks over directly at the other wall, so unless you're standing naked right in front of it, no one's gonna know. I wanted to add some, like, weathering to the house, because this is kind of like an older house. I want this to feel lived in, you know? So I'm adding some scratches, some soot from the fireplace, some scratches from, you know, moving the bookcase over, some soot next to the, cook oven is what I did first, because it's an older one. Here's me trying to decide what to put on the end table. I went through it. I wanted to put an urn there, and I couldn't find one, and then I finally found one, and then I decided that I didn't like that one. And then I was like, wait, what if I make a little, like, you know, morning area out here? That'd be kind of cute. And so then I created some lore for this character. So you can't read. We're not quite there yet. We will get there, though. Don't worry. I added the candle, but I realized we already have an incense holder. So these are basically, Promise for Forever, Unrequited Love, and, like, a love poem. So the lore for this character, this build, is that it's a fairy who fell in love with a human. And then, obviously, the human died. That kind of happens. But they basically never got to fully say that they loved them. And so it's just kind of sad, you know? That's kind of what I decided, along with the mournful melodies there, so, you know, yeah.